Mr. Mboweni, thanks for making the time.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, I imagine you would have quickly had a look at the document itself. Do you support this Treasury economic strategy?
Well, firstly is that the economy is facing serious challenges. There's deepening inequalities, unemployment and poverty in the country, and the economy has not responded positively to those challenges. But the policy aspect of that remains with the party, and we have not had a discussion inside the alliance about these proposals. That is why it was shocking that such a critical intervention just comes out through the department or the ministry without us having had a look at it and actually look at the appropriate interventions necessary.
What concerns you most about the process of developing this document?
The most critical thing is the policy framework, whether it's fiscal policy interventions. You remember we've had a series of debates regarding the role of the fiscal and monetary policy in economic development, which we have also felt that in terms of the law, according to PFMA Act, for instance, the coordinative aspect of that role is with the Minister of Finance, and of course in working in coordination with the Governor of the Reserve Bank. So there's aspect that deals with this in the policy framework without appropriate elaboration by the policy mandating structure, which in this case is the ANC through the alliance components.
Mr. Mboweni, I'm going to ask you the first question I asked you, but differently this time around. This document, the content of it, do you find anything that is positive about it? And therefore, the basis of my question, do you support it as an alliance partner to the governing party?
We can't support the document, we don't know its source. In fact, it draws some interventions from existing framework of the NDP, which is a document that we know, which is a document that we've engaged with and differed with some of its economic aspects. So it's not necessarily a document that raises new things altogether. There are new areas. But some of the older areas, for instance, the framework is what concerns us, and neoliberal posturing of the framework of the document, which we think that everybody knows. A neoliberal capitalist system has failed worldwide. It has failed here, despite the kind of resources that we have. Hence, we continue to have difficulties of unemployment. So when you are making an intervention of that sort, you require comprehensive engagements in the party, and it doesn't have to take long. And I think that's why we use even the way that we don't have to take advantage of the current economic situation to throw in documents overnight to cohere us to a particular direction, which will not necessarily resolve the challenges that we have. We need a document that can be based on a broad and comprehensive industrial strategy that covers all aspects of our interventions as a government, with the involvement of all sections of our government, not just the Ministry of Finance.
Some are already saying that the origins of this document by National Treasury could possibly come from foreign consultants, and I use these words because they were used by a person seated where you were last night, Floyd Shibambu. So this is the work of foreign consultants, according to the EFF. In your view, where do you believe this document originates, and what is the strategy of the finance minister here? Is it trying to test waters in terms of public sentiment?
Well, we don't know. First, we don't even know whether it was drafted by foreign consultants, which would be a serious concern, particularly because we do have the capacity here, and we need to draft policy based on our concrete conditions so that no foreigner decides for us how to intervene in some rural areas in South Africa that they've never been. So it's us who will know the difficulties there and what needs to be done. That would be a serious concern if that's the case, but we do not know that. Obviously, going forward, what is important is that we don't know if the minister was testing the waters, but whatever it is, we need the discussions inside the alliance. The ANC itself must have a discussion on this matter The government people are deployed there. Their role is largely coordinative. The policy mandate rests with the party, and I think that's the fundamental issue here. He can't just come and throw in a policy in the midst of this economic crisis that we face of such great nature without having taken his party into account.
Just very quickly, do you believe that the president may have been kept in the dark in the development of this document? Do you think that he doesn't know that this document was being developed?
I would not say much about that. All I do know is that we had a meeting, a bilateral meeting with the leadership of the ANC as the Communist Party last week, also the leadership of COSATU last week, where we all agreed in these bilaterals that we require an urgent meeting to discuss the state of the South African economy. And in that meeting, the president did indicate as well, and the ANC leadership did indicate that, yes, this is a matter of urgent concern, and that we are working on something, and we need to be meeting as the Alliance Political Council quite soon to discuss those matters, including obviously preparing what we have suggested as an Alliance Economic Summit, which has long been overdue but has not been convened. So I don't know, but it will be worrisome if, for instance, he has gone through this kind of document, or is a document that he has been aware and we have not been briefed about.
Mr. Mapaila, thank you very much for your time. He is the SACP's first Deputy General Secretary.